Well, hello there, average homesteaders. I bet you didn't know. I'm a chick magnet. Well, hello there, average homesteaders. We got some baby chicks. What you're looking at is 20 Cornish cross chicks. Now they're about a week old. And aren't they adorable? Now the first thing you want to do is get your brooder set up. Now I use Rubbermaid type containers. They're easy to obtain and they're pretty cheap and they're really easy to clean. What you're going to want to do is spread your pine shavings all throughout the brooder, and then you're going to want to get a heat source. Now I use heat lamps. Some people don't like them. They say they're a fire hazard. I agree they could be if you don't set them up right, but if you attach them firmly with something so that they won't fall, they'll never be a fire hazard in your brooder. Some people use those heat trays, and they appear to work real nice and fancy, but they're quite pricey. They start off at about 40 bucks. The heat lamp, you can get the light apparatus and the bulb for under $20. Okay, you're going to want to have water for your chicks. I like these waterers. They can be picked up at your local Tractor Supply store, and they cost about, I think they're under 10 bucks. And what I like about them is they're small, they don't take up a lot of space, and they have what is kind of referred to as a drown-free reservoir on the bottom. Now, if you get a too big of a water, a chick can actually drown in the early days. Some people like to put stones throughout the bottom of their waterers to help prevent that, but basically this design right here, I don't think you really have anything to worry about. Okay, as far as feeders for your chicks, come on babies, come on, get along doggy, get along. Now I like this type of feeder right here. It's got these small holes in it. It helps prevent the chicks from basically kicking their food all over the place. And they're pretty easy to use. They're a clamshell type of opening. They have hinges right here. It opens up, you dump the feed in, you fold it back over, and you're good to go. I mean, the only downside is it's low to the ground. The chicks like to climb on top of it, and then they poop all over everything. But you're going to have that. As far as pine shavings go, as the chickens do relieve themselves on the pine shavings, you just keep adding extra pine shavings and let it build up until the chicks are weaned from the brooder. When it comes to heat for your chicks, you can generally watch their behavior and tell whether they have enough heat or not. Watch how they huddle underneath the heater versus wandering about the brooder. If they very rarely leave the heat lamp, then you need to lower it down a little bit. Kind of the rule of thumb is about 100 degrees under the heat lamp when you first bring the chickens home, if you have an ability to measure that. Feed for your new chicks. You're going to want a 20% protein level chick starter. And mine are meat birds, so after 3 weeks, you'll be able to switch them over to a more of a growth feed that is made for meat birds versus laying hens. As your chicks age, after about 2 or 3 weeks, they may start to try to bail out of the brooder. So you're going to probably want to get some kind of a lid for on top of the brooder. You could use a wood frame with a little screen material on it. Basically improvise with something, just as long as you're not sealing them up tight as a drum. Now after about 6 weeks in warmer climates, your chicks can go outside in a brooder or a coop. Where I live at in the northern climate, I'm going to wait more to 10 or 12 weeks. I'm going to wait until the birds are feathered out quite well and they're a little bit larger due to our climate here, because you never know if it's going to be warm one day or cold the next. Let's talk about how you get your chickens. Now you can order them through the mail. You can go to your local store that sells them and pick them out, or you can hatch your own. Most people don't hatch their own. You have to buy specialty equipment and you have to follow certain directions or you will not be successful whatsoever. Let's talk about the elephant in the room is in the mail. Now I've learned my lesson with receiving chicks in the mail. Now I live in a northern climate where it's awful cold in the spring. And you get chicks mailed to you, you can basically assume that some of them are not going to make it. This last batch I got, there was 1 dead on arrival, 4 more dead by the next morning, and the day after that, 3 more were dead. It's just, these chicks are brand new babies, and the change of temperature of warm, hot is just, it's not good for them whatsoever. I, personally, in the future will be going to the local store and picking them out there. Now I was lucky enough to have my local Tractor Supply graciously replace all the dead chicks that I had. They said they didn't have to do it, that there is a process going through their hatchery, filling out paperwork, contacting the hatchery and getting a refund. That spells to 30 days later before you see anything. So I'm gonna go pick mine out at a local store going forward. No more through the mail. Now last fall I ordered 30 laying hens through the mail and I only had 1 die, but that was in August and it was much warmer out at that time. So to each their own, decide wisely. Okay, I think I provided you with enough information to be able to be successful with your brand new chicks. Good luck in your endeavors and keep on farming.